Welcome, Tribe, to the Thrive Right for Life podcast. I'm her co host, Professor Dante Reed.
And I'm his co-host, Dr. Keisha Russell. And we're back for another
Yeah,
teens podcast, which can I express my frustration
uh,
for this
please do.
and how we're still stuck indoors. They're telling us to stay inside. They're telling us to stay away from people. They're telling us to pretty much do a lot of the opposite of what actually helps our immune system. And
Yeah.
it's irritating. These are supposed to be the top medical experts in the country. And to see that science is saying this, but they're saying this, it just doesn't add up for me.
Well, they're trying to get away with what they can get away with, especially when people aren't informed.
Absolutely. And they're not in the right health state.
Because we should be getting fresh air. We should be doing things to build our immune system, not whatever.
Yeah. So where this kind of topic is coming from is pretty much kind of boost that immunity part two, except we're getting more in depth with specifically here are the things you can do right now at home to boost your immune system and kind of to clear up what science is saying about increasing your immune system versus what our current higher ups are telling us that we should be doing. Because we got a lot of questions about that and a lot of people are just confused because they don't know
Well,
why.
anytime you add in secret hidden agendas, it kind of makes things a little difficult for reality.
Exactly. So for our tribe, obviously we're all in this together. Um, Here are some specific things that you can do right now at home for yourself and your family to ensure that you're increasing your immune system and strengthening yourself. Because to be all honest, we've run into other viruses before, and those numbers were much more drastic than what we're seeing right now. So you know how to fight off viruses. Your body knows how to do it. So don't think that this all of a sudden is some random crazy virus that your body can't fight off. Because I mean, how many people do we have that are recorded that have recovered from this?
Well, that type of information you have to go seek out for yourself because they're not projecting those numbers. They're just projecting the fear and the lockdown and yes, there are people who have sensitive immune systems and they should absolutely be protected. But on the other hand, the rest of us, I'm not too sure we should have done all this isolation, if you will.
Yeah, as it's coming out, has this actually helped, or have we just gotten ourselves into a predicament?
I watched a video on a guy who's a head epidemiologist, and he was kind of saying the same thing that, herd immunity would have been better. It would have come and it would have gone. So, which side of the fence to be on? But there's a lot of confusion, and there are a lot of people out there who have a lot of fear, who don't understand that your body is awesome if you give it what it needs. Now,
Absolutely.
if you eat unhealthy and you have an unhealthy lifestyle and you do things to lower your immune system, then you'll be in trouble when you come across certain viruses. But there's also information out there to help people concerning water intake, exercising. What are the fruits and vegetables we can consume to help our immune system?
Yes, absolutely. So let's actually start there. Let's start with water, because we know that water is an essential nutrient that everyone needs in their bodies, in their lives.
Every
Yes, and legitimately, a lot of your systems can't function properly without the appropriate amount of water in it. So, especially when it comes to vitamin C, a lot of people are on vitamin C. They're getting vitamin C, but I don't think a lot of people realize that it's a water soluble vitamin. meaning it needs water to actually pull it through into the cells and to actually be utilized.
And in your opinion, do you think natural or synthetic is more important in
Natural.
terms of vitamin C? I mean, I kind of feel like if you squeeze a lemon into some water and drink that on a regular basis, you're really enhancing your immune system.
Absolutely. And we mentioned that on the first Boost Your Immunity, part one. And you're absolutely right. Having that vitamin C from the citrus plus that water, it's just such a great combination to be able to just transfer that vitamin C, that essential vitamin, into your cells. And we know that our body really can't make it, so it has to come from the diet. So for you individuals watching, if you look at your diet and you notice that you're not getting any type of vitamin C in it, you're already doing yourself a disservice because you're not allowing yourself to take in that essential nutrient that actually boosts your immune system and helps your immune system.
And for those who have that misconception as far as lemon being acidic, outside of the body, yes, it does have a pH of about 2, but once it enters the body and is digested by your system, that number changes 7 and becomes alkaline. You're killing one stone. You're getting vitamin C and you're helping become more alkaline.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that water is essential to get the vitamin C into the cells. But when it comes to vitamin
Mhm.
C itself, that's the next one we'll jump to. So first, getting that water, vitamin C, the way that that works in the body is really a whole host of things, including it acts as an antioxidant. Plus, it can help to really upregulate the white blood cells that are in your immune system. And we know white blood cells, besides the skin, is like that one of the first lines of defenses to be able to
Mhm.
fight against a virus or a bacteria and kind of engulf it and then get rid of it via the lymphatic system. So, like you said, squeezing that lemon into the water, you're killing two birds with one stone. You're getting both of those benefits. So, if you're not doing something like that each day, at least in 8 ounces of water or something, then again, you're doing your body a huge disservice.
Then you get a little bit of flavor in your water too. So go ahead. Don't be afraid to squeeze that lemon in your water.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and do it. So the next one I have is, since we're on the vitamins, is vitamin A. And we know that vitamin A comes from a lot of the bright colored vegetables and fruits. So we have carrots and spinach, and we have cantaloupes, and there's a lot of the brighter colored fruits and veggies that we can get some of this vitamin A in. But a lot of people hear that, but they don't know where they can actually get it from.
Yeah. So I know we mentioned it earlier as far as being in quarantine and having the ability to have more time to do more research. You guys, you gotta look some stuff up and figure out so you have options, so you're not just stuck to one type of fruit or vegetable.
Yes.
Find out how many of them attack that type of vitamin so that you can meet those needs.
Absolutely. And vitamin A is helpful because your B cells and your T cells, which are essentially like the next line of defense. So let's say that virus or pathogen does get in towards the cell, it can help to kind of block that and mitigate that and modulate that. So if we're not having any of that vitamin A, any of those leafy greens or the carrots, or I mean, you can honestly make stews that are filled with so much vitamin A if you have the zucchinis, and you can even throw in some vitamin C veggies like tomatoes and just really get a whole host of benefits from that, and including the protein. If you throw some meat in there, oh, that's like a bowl of immune goodness. Like you're really doing something
Immune,
for yourself.
immune stew.
Immune stew. Oh, we should make one of those. Yep, that's coming next. That is coming next.
Uh,
So yeah, really understand that when you go to the store, and I know a lot of individuals are like, well, I don't know what to eat because the Pop-Tarts are cleaned out, and all these things that we really shouldn't be eating. And sugar, I'm going to have you talk about that next because that's really important too. The things that we really shouldn't be eating. But every time I've gone to the store, the fruits and veggies and meats have been plentiful. There's been a ton of them there. And that's really where we get a lot of these immune boosting vitamins and minerals and components from, are those. We don't get them from Pop Tarts. We don't get them from, fruit roll-ups.
No, so there's been like a disconnect with, survival. So as soon as everybody heard about this and they wanted to go stock up on foods, they went and stocked up on the wrong foods. And it's like, in order to help your body thrive and survive through this type of virus, you really need to eat fruits and vegetables. And that's part of the reason I've so severely switched my diet, because, man, we all know I ate terrible for the longest. And just recently now I'm like, okay, well, if I'm intentional and deliberate about foods that can defend against a virus and help mitigate the damage of one, that should be all of our goals now, to kind of eat defensively, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah. And we have this available. And some individuals have even started growing their own gardens well before all this stuff hit. So we have these things and we don't need a whole lot of them. And I think that's what a lot of people are thinking is, I'm going to have to eat 6 times a day, when really your body doesn't need you to eat 6 times a day, especially being in the house.
My gosh, I know we don't want this to turn into a whole carnivore or keto episode, but just by eating the right foods, I promise you, you guys, you will not eat as much food.
Mm-mm.
Because what happens is your body starts to repair all the hormone imbalances. So then your ghrelin is fixed. So then you're not having false hunger pains all day. If you drink more water, you're not having false hunger pains all day because you're hydrated. There's a list of things. It's like a domino effect. Once you start eating bad, and I know because I've done it more than everybody, once you start eating bad, everything else just slides downhill. And then once you start eating the right foods, which is whole fruits, vegetables, and animal products, everything comes back. And then you don't need to consume food all day.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, I've had people tell me, you don't eat right, you only eat once a day, but that's all my body needs. Like today, I had probably a container, probably about that big. It had 3 sausages and the rest was filled with broccoli, cauliflower. I had carrots in it. I had some squashes in it. There was just a whole host of veggies. And that's all I had. I got hungry around 12:31. I ate that and I'm legitimately not hungry. I'm not craving anything. There's no, like, my body's satisfied.
You did everything right hormonally, so
Yeah.
you don't, and I'm sure you're hydrated over there,
Mm-hmm.
so you're not having all these false. Once you start eating bad, it's like it's this spike where it's a, what do you call those? They call it a wormhole, or
Oh yeah, yeah,
like a never-ending pit.
yeah.
You're hungry, you're hungry, you're hungry. You never get satisfied because you're not giving the body the nutrients it needs to actually do what it needs to do. So then you're just eating, you're eating, you're eating. Insulin levels are up, you spike, you're up and down. It's terrible. So I can speak from both ends of this.
Yeah.
This side is better.
Oh, yeah. And what's interesting is I found a video of a gentleman from MIT, and he's a really well-known individual who just has a whole host of experience in just medicine and biomedical engineering, and just a really brilliant individual. And he was talking about when he was younger in India, what ended up happening was when they had some conflict between higher ups and lowers. They called them the lowers, I guess.
Of
And
course.
what they found was if they fed them water and bread, then they were weaker, therefore they were easier to control with whatever they were trying to do. And it kind of made me think of a lot of individuals' diets that I know about. And really, it's just maybe not even filled with water, it's filled with soda, but we have a lot of carbs and a lot of the sugars. So, especially when it comes to sugar, and I think it's important to let people know that carbs, when they break down into the body, they get broken down to sugar. Like that's the simple form of carbohydrates is glucose, and glucose is sugar. So when it comes to sugars, how does that affect our immune system? How does that affect us being able to fight off disease?
Well, there are studies that have shown that, high sugar levels in the body creates an acidic environment, and viruses thrive in that acidic environment. And then you have the situation where your body produces more mucus to defend you against all the sugar you're intaking. So once your mucus level gets out of whack and you have so much mucus built up everywhere, now you have what's the little petri dish they used to call it, where all the bacteria is in there?
Oh yeah,
Now
yeah,
you have
yeah. A
this
petri dish.
nasty, yeah, you have this nasty bundle of bad bacteria that can grow
Mhm.
and thrive in the sugar, the mucus. It just becomes gross. And then once that happens, now you're raising your level for infection.
Absolutely. And going back to vitamin A, mucus is one thing that vitamin A helps to regulate, to keep balance. But like you
Yeah.
said, if you're eating all that sugar, and I know there's individuals out there who've eaten that bowl of ice cream and all of a sudden they feel like mucusy all up in
Instant.
here. Yeah, there's like extra something in there. So I know people have experienced this, but I don't think individuals realize what's actually happening in the body and why their body's reacting that way. Because our body doesn't want to harm us, but what we're doing to it is harming us. And it's just really trying to defend itself against.
Then, then you have the situation where you have so much sugar, it's creating mucus to help you, to defend you. And then what it can't process, then it starts slamming that into your fat stores. So you have both sides working against you, all because you're intaking too much sugar and too much carbs.
Yeah. And I have some individuals that go, well, I don't eat sugar. I don't eat candy bars. I'm like, okay, well, do you have bread? And they go, yeah. I said, do you eat spaghetti? Well, yeah. Then you're taking in sugar because, again, that's what it gets broken down to if you don't utilize it is
Yeah, I
sugar.
had a conversation. I had a conversation with a young lady. Gosh, it was a long time ago, and she had just switched over to, is it vegan or vegetarian? I'm not sure which one, where it's just plants only.
Vegetarian.
But she also increased her carb intake. So it was the pasta, the crackers, and she
Uh,
was wondering why she couldn't lose any weight. And I was like, okay, you might have cut meat out, but you raised your bread and pasta and cracker intake, and that's why you can't lose the weight, because the insulin spiked now, and it's like,
yeah. And going back to the physician that I was watching his talk on, he was mentioning the power of protein in terms of immunity and health and being able to strengthen yourself to fight those things off. And granted, there's ethical reasons why individuals probably wouldn't want to eat meat. But at the end of the day, we understand that protein can come in beans, it can come in other forms. And so you really want to make sure that you're getting some form in your diet. And I found it interesting that the food pyramid at the bottom is carbs, then it goes fats, then it goes proteins, when really those should be flipped. It really
the
should be
entire
carbs, fats, proteins.
the entire food pyramid is false. As a matter of fact, the person that created it, they went and switched it and flipped it upside down on her, because that's not what she put originally.
Nope, not
So
at all. Not at all. And she put a regulation for sugar. So when it comes to sugar, I normally tell the clients and individuals that come to me is that you should want to aim for 24 to 30 grams, no more than that. If you can stay under 24, great. If you can't and you can stay under 30, great. But we have individuals that by the time they're done with breakfast, they've already consumed 55 grams of sugar. And that's just breakfast.
oh no, way more. I thought about all the times we had all the pancakes and the syrup and the hash browns with the, so that's starchy from the potatoes, and it, like, man,
Just getting stored and
I,
all those fat cells.
it's time to head back this way now.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
crazy.
So one thing you can do today, limit the sugar. That is going to help you. And Kaiser put out a statement. It was for maybe 2 or 3 days. They took it down really quick, but they admitted that cancer cells feed off of sugar.
Oh, that's another big one, boy.
Yes. So when it just comes to overall disease, we can see why so many individuals are getting sick is because our sugar intake in our diet has just skyrocketed. And you know, the naked juice has minimum 24 grams of sugar in it, and it's supposed to be healthy, right?
The only well, I don't know. I haven't done enough studies on stevia, but I have used the liquid kind in the brown bottle, not the cheap ones at the stores, but the better one. And they said it's supposed to be like 4 times sweeter than sugar per gram, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I need to do more studies on that. But if you can substitute sugar with that, maybe to help you out, if you
Hmm.
absolutely have to have things sweetened,
Yeah.
or you can just, you know,
Just
bite the bite the bullet and just cut the sugar.
yeah, just get your taste buds used to it because I mean there's a like bliss with bitters, like being able to just taste bitters, like bitter taste, and like Brussels sprouts and asparagus, and like there's so many health benefits from that. And it's just like open up your palate. So many individuals taste palates is sugar carbs, and it's like open it up. There's a whole variety of foods out there that you're missing out on, and all these other foods have all the essential vitamins and minerals you need to actually fight off disease.
Especially if you switch the sugars and carbs for fats. You
Yes.
know, 'cause so many people are scared of fats because of the media, how they demonized it. But in actuality, the only time fat is dangerous for you is when you have a high sugar and carb intake. Once you mix those two together, now you have problems that can happen with the arteries and all that, cholesterol levels and all that. So my mindset was, if I go get the same burger as you, but I wrap it in a collard green leaf instead of a bun,
Yep.
I can still enjoy it without the health risk.
Exactly. With all the negative side effects.
Yeah, so I'll like steam the collard green leaf, cut the stem out, and like find a way to wrap that up and have a burger still
Oh,
without the buns.
that's a nice quarantine dish. So try that out, especially if you have kids. I mean, I'm sure the kids would love to create their
And
own burgers and
there's
stuff.
plenty of videos on it. There's plenty of videos on the best way to utilize the collard green leaf to make a bun out of it. So
Yeah. Yeah. So next thing I want to talk about is zinc and how
zinc.
important zinc is. So when it comes to zinc, you can find this in like shellfish. One of my favorite places to find it in is dark chocolate, but don't go for that Hershey's dark chocolate because that stuff is packed full of sugar. You want to make sure that you're going for 80% dark chocolate or higher from a good quality source. And you really don't need a whole lot of it. And I noticed that, especially when it comes to like sweets, a little square of chocolate is all I need. I don't crave any more than that. But I really had to work on my taste palette and really work on getting my body out of that carb sugar feeding frenzy and switching, like you said, over to the fats and the proteins, and utilizing those as energy.
And another good source for zinc is oysters. Oh my gosh. I know some people can't have it. Make sure you're not allergic to it, but oysters are phenomenal.
Yeah, and how no matter where you get the zinc from, and again, this is all stuff that you can research. Like this is not hidden stuff that we just like found from somewhere. This is all stuff that you can research from credible sources. And what it helps to do is called glycylation, if I'm saying that correct. But really, what happens in the cell when a virus tries to attach, zinc helps to kind of create a barrier so that virus can't attach. So then the B cells, the T cells, the macrophages, all those things can come up and just kind of eat it up and get rid of it. So
So
those individuals.
it's kind of like an isolatory effect so that your body can fight and give you a better chance.
Yeah, so the virus doesn't attach and replicate, and now we're creating a bigger and bigger and bigger problem.
Yeah,
Which
because they're looking to get in your cells and replicate themselves.
yes, which we
That's
know.
the virus.
Yeah, and we know the underlying issue, especially with this form of coronavirus, is the fluid buildup that happens in the lungs from it. So it's not that the virus kills you, it's the improper treatment for the pneumonia that you have from it that has unfortunately taken some individuals' lives. But a lot of individuals think that, oh, once I get it, that's it. No, there's a lot you can do. And if you understand what is happening in your body and how your body's trying to help you, then you can allow your body those things to be able to boost it up. So you don't get to the stage of fluid building up in your lungs.
Right. And so if you also research and look into pneumonia, you'll find out that it's the bacteria that sits on the mucus. And then that whole process begins the pneumonia. So if you take herbs and supplements that are antibacterial and also have antiviral qualities, guess what? You'll be cutting that chance of you getting pneumonia so that you won't die.
Yeah, absolutely. And the vitamin A we talked about that helps with it. What's another herb that someone would just have in their home, like readily available in their home?
Well, that's we covered it in the last episode, but like the elderberry, the ashwagandha,
Mhm.
the everything, the ginseng, the echinacea, all that stuff has antiviral, antibacterial qualities. Same thing with honey. If you just spoon a tablespoon of honey, you're kind of knocking out a lot of the bacteria. So, but they're not putting this information out there for people to know that you can take antibacterial, antiviral herbs and mitigate your chances of ever catching pneumonia. Even if you come in contact with corona, you don't have to catch the pneumonia and die from it.
Exactly. And
But that's gonna that's gonna take your part of the herbs, the hydration, the
Mhm.
vitamin C, the zinc, and also staying away from things that cause mucus.
Yes. Like some individuals, dairy will cause that. So if you notice every time you eat dairy, that you start to get that mucus buildup or your intestines, your GI tract starts to feel upset, then that's something that's increasing your toxic load to where you're going to have a hard time fighting off anything else that comes at you because you're giving your body something that it's creating mucus. It does not want. It's not thriving with what you're giving it.
Yeah, we do not want mucus right now.
No, not at all. So the last thing I have is oxygen. And nobody's really talking about this. All people are really talking about is when the vaccine comes out. And I have a whole nother episode on that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to oxygen, I did find a study that mentioned back in 2015, they looked at oxygen in the immune system and they found that if you are put in a hypoxic state, which means lack of oxygen to the cells, either because there's a blockage in your throat. I mean, in emergency medicine, that's really what we see it is someone's choking on something, therefore air's not getting in. But what's also causing individuals to get into a hypoxic state are these masks. And I'm not saying to not follow regulatory laws, but understand that if you're chronically wearing a mask, like I feel bad for some of these individuals who have to wear a mask for 8 hours at work, because if you wear a mask, and I've had so many people tell me, I just feel weird. I feel like I'm not able to breathe. I feel like I'm not able to get oxygen. So when I ran across the study and it showed that when you're put in that state, your immune system actually lowers, I realized there's millions of people, billions of people all over the world putting themselves in a hypoxic state to where their immune systems are getting low. And if you're not doing these other things we've been urging our tribe to do, like drinking the water, the vitamin C, A, zinc, all that, then your immune system's going to be shot. And could you get sick more easy or more easily? Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, so with that, you're compromising your immune system by not taking in enough oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just sitting there breathing the same. So what is it? You exhale carbon dioxide,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Yeah.
breathe. Then you breathe it back in and breathe it back, and it's just you're not. Your saturation level, I'm sure, is going down,
Yeah.
creating slight hypoxia.
Yeah, so that's why I feel a lot of individuals are telling me like, "Hey, I'm feeling really weird. Like there has to be something wrong with this." And you're absolutely right. Like go with what your body's telling you. And again, if you want to wear a mask, go ahead. I'm kind of a rebel. I honestly been going to the mailbox and going on walks and stuff because I want to get oxygen. And I mean, if someone tries to give me a ticket for it or whatnot, guess I can quickly just do one of those and say, no, I had it on, it slipped down or whatever. But really take a break from the mask and step outside in your backyard or even outside your front door and just breathe in some oxygen, give your body the needed nutrient that those cells need to boost your immune system. That's something easy and free you can go do.
And since we're on this topic on the oxygen level part, it's kind of important that, because I've just adopted it, honestly, you have to start working out inside of your house. I know we can't get to the gyms. Maybe you don't want to go expose yourself on runs or walks. I'm not sure, whatever your situation is, but at least start doing body weight movements or doing some kind of calisthenics or some type of exercise so that you can increase your oxygen levels and work those lungs out just in case you come in contact.
Yeah, actually, just get stronger as a whole and understand that whenever you move, even if it's yoga, you don't have to do high intensity workouts like plyometrics in your bedroom. You don't have to do that. But even if it's something as simple as yoga or stretching, you're allowing your muscles to push against the lymphatic system and pull out the toxins. And some individuals don't realize that when we allow those toxins to build up because of lack of movement, because of smoking or bad eating, or we're putting products on our skin that really shouldn't be put on our skin, our body has to use that immune system to fight all these different things. So it's going to be compromised because now we're to this level of toxicity because we're not providing movement or anything. And then that one last thing gets set on top, and then it's kind of like the camel or the straw that broke the camel's back. So movement, allow your body to move to filter out those toxins because it needs it. We weren't meant to just sit on the couch and watch Netflix all day. It's not what our bodies were created to do.
Yeah, it's nice every now and then, but you have to make sure that during this time while you're figuring out your life and building your next phase of life and adding value to every other area in your life, you have to add value to your working out. You have to, I just started the push-ups and the squats. So that's what I'll be doing now. I'm not sure if I'll do it every other day or if I'll do it every day. I'm kind of in the middle with the whole rest recovery thing too. I'm not sure how often you should.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it depends on what you do.
It does. Yeah. Yeah, it does. And to kind of close off a little bit, because you mentioned that, stress came to mind. And I know it's tough, especially individuals who are financially strapped, but you need to find outlets. You need to find ways to alleviate that stress. And exercise is a great way because you can let go of some of that energy. And I mean, it automatically produces feel good hormones. I've never met one single person after their workout that's like, I'm pissed I did that workout. Like, most individuals are happy they did that workout. They're feeling good after that workout. So it's important to regulate your stress because that can decrease your immune system, and exercise is a great way to be able to regulate your stress.
Agreed.
So hopefully everyone is able to take those easy to do at home tips. You can literally do that right now. Go into your kitchen, get some lemon water. You can do a couple squats while you're waiting for your what do we call it? Vegetable immunity soup or whatever we called it. You can do some
Immunity
workouts.
stew.
Yeah, immunity stew while you're waiting for that to get done. I mean, these are things that you literally have control of. So we really wanted this to be a positive podcast, an empowering episode to let you know that you have more power than you think, especially when it comes to your health and your body. That's all on you. That's your decision, what happens with it. That's it. You're like glitching a little bit. All
Yeah,
right.
you're still frozen in place.
Oh, not on my end, so they're not going to see that. So, all right. Well, any last words you want to add?
Just take these tips and formulate them the way you need to for you. Figure out what's thriving for you, and hopefully you can make the best out of it and give yourself a fighting chance just in case you may encounter this Rona
And understand
or,
when it comes
or
to,
any other virus for that matter.
I'm like, most of us have encountered it. We've had the common cold, so we've encountered some form of it. But yeah, it's you have so much more power and control over this than the media is allowing you to think or letting you think.
And matter of fact, give yourself a break from the media too.
Talk about controlling the stress levels. Like,
Man,
that's like instant elimination.
you should have saw my dad. He said as soon as he hears the news, he turns it because he's like, I work at the hospital. I don't want to hear come home and hear corona. You know.
Exactly. I agree with him. I agree with your dad. But all right. Well, we want to thank you, Tribe, for joining us today. And we want to thank One Shooter Production, honestly, for helping us out all the time with this technology stuff, especially in today's time.
Yeah, check them out on Instagram and on YouTube. One Shooter Production.
Absolutely. And we will see you next time on Thrive Right for Life.